What is going on, everybody? Happy Monday to you all. It is lunchtime. It is lunch with the Clydesdale. Good to see you all. What's up, Corey? What's up, Craig? Yeah, fun times today. What's up, Holly? Yeah, so this weekend I went back to Pennsylvania to see my mom. She was in the hospital a few weeks ago. Just wanted to go back, check on her, see how she's doing. And so we went Friday, came back Sunday, and it was a good trip. But like when I'm at my mom's house, I do not sleep well. Man, after last night's show, I hit the hay, and man, I was out cold. And I am having a very, very hard time waking up today. Do you ever have that where like you are sleeping so good and so solid that when you wake up the next morning, you just cannot get awake? And that's kind of where I am today. I am on the struggle bus at work today, just trying to get through meetings, trying to get through emails. Yeah, and nothing is going easy, of course, on a Monday because it's a Monday. But we're here with you. I'm glad to be here with you. So good to see you all. Mama Schweitzer is the GOAT. She sure is. Kenneth says just dead to the world for about 4 hours. Yeah. Corey, I was just at the part of last night's show where you said you didn't want to turn this into a steroid show. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it would. Last night's show was so good. Like you guys in the chat just turn it into whatever it becomes, right? We just talk about whatever kind of comes up in the chat. We have a rundown. It's just a basic outline as to what's going on. But really, like whatever comes out of from you guys, we kind of get into. And what was great about last night, because we're kind of in the in between of a couple things, we opened it up to Q&A for Jamie and Carolyn, and that was a blast. You guys had a lot of great questions, and we'll probably do that periodically every couple weeks. Let them answer some questions and just let you guys pick what you want to hear about. So that was awesome. Man, we got a lot of you in here. What's up, Helson? John Jenkins, welcome to the show. Jay Birch, what's going on? Yeah. Sounds like someone has a case of the Mondays. Scott, hopefully not. I have a case of the Mondays. But if I can just get through today, I should be fine. Get another good night's sleep tonight in my own bed, and then back on the winning ways tomorrow. So Kat is thinking about Tuesday or Wednesday nights for her dating pod. Catching Kat. So yeah, we put that out last week for you to vote on whether you wanted to see Kat do that as a permanent show. She is working on that now, and watch for that if that is something you are interested in. Should be fun. Yeah, Corey, I was watching Savon, and Grub got the email this morning about getting drug tested today. I don't know if testing masters athletes out of competition is new. It's always been allowed. I think that the only way that it happened in the past is if someone filed something about that athlete and suspected or had some evidence or something like that, then they would do it outside of the traditional games season. But I think it is very, very rare. And I'm glad. I mean, I hope Jason passes and everything is fine with him, but I'm glad they're doing it. I think that it is way, way, way too rampant in the Masters space to just make it an IQ test that they know they have to be off the half-life before the games, essentially. And we saw last year, especially with the behind the scenes, all those people I interviewed and the way they talked about how they worked so hard and did all this stuff, and then come to light that they were using some of them for multiple times, and had to give up their podium finishes at the games due to steroid abuse or whatever, performance enhancing drugs. Kenneth says, may I propose the title Cat Scratch Fever? And then we have Aaron saying Cat on the Prowl. And I think I actually got that from Dex in a text as well, as a proposed title. The problem is, what if I start seeing someone? Format may change a bit. Yeah, I think what you'll find, Kat, is once you start doing the show, you'll just start talking about other things, and it'll probably become more varied than you think. Just through that's my experience. Like, I had plans for this show to be different things, and really it's just now me talking into a microphone, reading the comments, and we talk about whatever's on our mind. And I think that you would actually do well in that format. So it may start as a dating show and just may turn into something different. Yeah, Corey, I worked so hard to be able to buy these PEDs. Yeah. I don't want to make accusations on the show about other people, so I'll let you guys talk about that in the comments. One thing I talked about really at the end of last night's show, and I wanted to revisit it a little bit, and that is this week, we had 2 episodes of Behind the Scenes come out. The first one was episode 4 earlier in the week, and then I think Friday night, episode 5 came out. What a great set of episodes. Episode 4 was really the first time in this behind the scenes where we hear athletes talk about really not wanting to be there, and other athletes saying they really did want to be there. So you start to see the divide and why things went down the way they did afterwards. And one thing that's been really, really hard for me is I never understood the whys behind all that. And I may never completely understand it. But then episode 5 came out, and it starts with a very powerful discussion with Luke Parker, and about his faith and his relationship with Lazar, and why he felt that he needed to continue on in the competition, going 100% to do the best he could. And that was awesome. But the part of episode 5, on a serious note, that was really, really powerful to me was there is footage of Don Fall giving an apology to the athletes, where he is saying that they are sorry for putting the athletes in this position, that it was a no-win situation for them, that they should have done better to guard them from this, that they put them in this situation. And he just kept saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And while I think that was a very powerful piece and something that had to be done, I think that and I should ask Savon this, but if that truly happened in the timeline that we're going by in these behind the scenes, and that did not happen until Saturday night, I think that was a big miss for CrossFit. Now, granted, I've said all along, I've never been in that situation. I don't know how I would act in that situation. I don't know how I would make decisions in that situation. But to make the apology on Saturday night, almost 36 hours after everything went down, I think was way, way too late. And so and Aaron kind of says it seems like he did it in retrospect. Like, he saw what happened, and then he reacted with the apology, when those athletes deserve the apology up front. because by Saturday night, a good chunk of the athletes that withdrew had already withdrawn and had already gone home. So the most upset people about the situation didn't even hear the apology. So I think that, so Denise, it was not an apology for the death. It was an apology for the position that they, CrossFit, put the athletes in, with like, do we go forward? Do we not go forward? You have the choice to do this. You have the choice to do that. That's what he was apologizing for in that moment. And it was a very good apology. And it was done it was done well. I think it was just done late. That's all I'm saying. D. Reed, no one knows how they would react in that situation. Grace should be the rule because it's awful. Some of the athletes forgot that. I don't disagree with that. I do not disagree with that. Sarah, I think it's weird we didn't see Dawn at all on any open announcements or posts or anything. Not that I saw anyway. Yeah, I'm sure that was calculated. I think with the sale and everything else, Don is probably on his way out as a CEO once the company sells. So, and really, he is the CEO of CrossFit, not the CrossFit Games. So, I think it's fine the way they did it. We said last night, overall, our feelings of this year's Open have been very positive, and we think that CrossFit has taken at least baby steps in the right direction to kind of right the ship of what the Open was. But it's going to get crazy with the sale, and where do we go from there? Andrew Sten says, also thinking about when he was allowed to give an apology by the owners. Sure, but he didn't say anything. He didn't admit anything in that apology. He just apologized for the situation that they were in, and that the position that they were in to answer for either staying or going and things like that. I don't know. No, Denise, it's about the position he put the athletes in. It was not about like the decisions that were made or anything like that. It's just all those athletes had to then answer for why they stayed or why they left or why they weren't performing like they normally did, or really it's just that. So for me, and I said this last night, and I'll echo it again, these pieces that I got to see now help me finish a couple puzzle pieces and truly allow me to move on, to move forward. I've had a very hard time trying to do athlete interviews because I just don't know where to start. I don't know what to talk about. And I've resolved that in my own head now after seeing some of this stuff. And I'm really, truly ready to do some more stuff like that. On a little bit different subject, Denise says, my affiliate just started getting charged monthly for their affiliate fees out of the blue. Normally his affiliate fees are due in December. So the new affiliate fees, you have the choice to do monthly or do yearly. And when you sign up, you choose that. So I think that's something that he can correct. He can still choose to pay yearly, but because of the increase, CrossFit gave them the ability to move to a monthly charge as opposed to a once a year charge. And that was spelled out when the price increase came. So I don't know if your owner got flipped and didn't know it, or flipped it and didn't know he did it, or what, but it is an option. You can pay one way or the other. Correct, Kenneth. It is a choice to pay monthly or to pay once a year. D. Reed says, we clearly saw a division in how athletes cope with the awful. Those with faith were better prepared. I do not disagree with that statement at all. So the last thing I'm going to say about the BTS is, while all that was good for me to move on and for me to be able to get back to doing interviews again and stuff like that, I do want to say there was still a lot of fun pieces in it. They really honed in on Alexis Raptis miscounting her laps on the mile, and the reactions from the other athletes when they saw her kick in so so early, and Brooke Wells thinking, oh my gosh, she must have a lot in the tank if she's kicking now. I can't keep up with this. So she backed off. And then to come to realize that Alexis had thought she was on lap 4 when really she was only on lap 3, but she went on to win that heat. And so it made for a really cool behind the scenes moment with her coach, with Alexis, and with Brooke Wells. And then there's some really cool stuff where they were prepping for the sled drags, and they didn't have sleds in the warm-up area to warm up on. So coaches were like grabbing onto the rope and having their athletes drag the coaches across the floor to warm up the sled pools, which was just those are those little things that you get to see and how they adapt in the moment to warm up for something that you don't always get to see broadcast. So yeah, those are the best parts, right? Kenneth says, Scott, why do you think they're getting pushback on the releasing the BTS? I think that none of us know what's pending in the behind the scenes, if there's still litigation going on or stuff like that. And so that could be why. I think that if you're selling CrossFit, there's probably things that you don't want to get out to the general public for them to see before they buy, or that could drive the price down. So I am sure that Berkshire is not happy with these being released at all. But I'm glad they are, and hopefully they can go to a more wide release at some point, because I do think there's a lot of value in what I've seen in these. If you don't have the membership to the Sevon channel, I've chosen to spend that money and support him for making them, because I really enjoy watching those things immensely. And he puts a lot of effort into that, and it's a big team. And so I pay for the membership to be able to watch those. And thank goodness, because this year, that's about the only way you can see it at this point. But hopefully once it's all out there and everybody has seen it and everybody's talked about it, people will realize it's not that big of a thing at this point, and that they let it go for a wide release. D. Reed talks about the unknown and the unknowable with the sled drags. Yeah, it's perfect. It's a perfect illustration of how you adapt to the unknown and unknowable in a situation to do things. And it's really fun to see that. Corey says he's been out of the loop all weekend. Does anybody know when the leaderboard is supposed to be finalized? An online semifinal is supposed to be sent out. I think I want to say that for the age group divisions, Carolyn and Jamie have already received emails about semifinals. Please do not quote me on that. Just updating about what to expect through that. So I don't know if that means that the leaderboard is final in their opinion. Corey, Jamie is out of the country, so you may have a hard time texting her. Jamie left for Cancun early this morning. So she is enjoying her week spring break with her son in his senior year, with an all-inclusive vacation to Cancun, Mexico. So, but I can dig around. I'll see what I can find out for sure. So yeah, I want to talk about that a little bit, and then I wanted to pull up the qualifier leaderboard for the WFP. I believe it closes tonight or tomorrow. I saw a post on Instagram, but I couldn't tell when it was posted. So I'm going to share that real quick. Still, we have nobody of significance on the men's side that have posted their scores yet. These gentlemen, I am not aware of, and I live a lot in the semifinal world. So I don't know who these people are. We have a lot more scores, but we don't have any of like the big hitters there all the way at the bottom. But they got a lot of people to sign up. Brian Spin has posted a score. There you go. And then after him, nobody has posted a score. So all of your like Caden Hogan and Bruno Marins, none of them have posted a score yet. Challenger female, Fisa Gaffi, still the only really big name athlete that has posted any scores. She posted all of them. I got to tell you, man, I love Fee's attitude this year, both in the open and in these qualifiers. Like she's posted her score early and like, come get me. And you got to love that attitude. She's not hiding anything. She's as fit as she's going to be. She posts the scores. But here you can see even at they only have 11 people that have posted any scores at all. There's Jessie Smith. There's Jennifer Muir. There's Dana Paran. And none of them have Mathilde Garnes. None of them have posted Grace Lochner. None of them have posted any scores at this point. I'm surprised Jamie hasn't posted her scores because she did all of these workouts, and hopefully she can do it from the plane or from Cancun. But there she did. She posted her score. She's sitting in 8th. So there we go. Well, she posted one of her scores. Okay. But she's done all of them. And all of her videos are out there if you want to see them. But yeah, all like the games athletes, Annika Greer, that none of them have posted any scores. So yeah, we are still waiting on that to finish up a little bit better. Holly comes in with official invitation sent to athletes March 31st, and the workouts will be released. I know you're getting them like the Monday. Is that the Monday? Let me look at my calendar. Yeah, that is Monday before you can start doing the workouts. You will get the actual workouts. We talked about that a little bit, and whether they like that. Jamie and Carolyn last night, whether they like getting them on a Monday and having some time to think about it before it actually goes live. And then are they going to do passwords to make sure nobody does it before the start of semifinals? So that'll be interesting to see. Holly said cut lines are posted. So that's cool. And just as I was messing around, breaking news from 2 minutes ago, the barbell spin. While I'm there, 2025 Tier Wadapalooza SoCal returns September 19th through the 21st. So we will have another Tier Wadapalooza SoCal. And I thought that was a good time. and it will be returning with the tier cup again. So again, we will have an all-star team or two or three going up against each other in the tier Wadapalooza SoCal. So fun stuff there. And humble brag by Corey. I'm inside the cut line. I just didn't know the last thing you said. You rock, Holly. So fun stuff. Well, that's pretty much, we got into a lot of stuff last night on the show. If you missed it, go back and watch it. It was a great show. We got to talk with the chat a lot, and got through a lot of information last night. And then we finished with some quick hit stuff. Last thing I'm going to hit today, and then I have a couple meetings this afternoon, is that, man, this has been the best year for TV. I've talked about a bunch of times about Landman and High Potential being amazing shows that I've gotten into this year. And now recently, The Pit and Reacher are both amazing. If you are not watching The Pit and you have the stomach to do so, it is one of the best shows I've ever seen on television. The realism of working in an ER and what they have to go through in a day is amazing. And now they're to a point where there's a real life. I don't want to say real life, it's fiction. There is a massive trauma event that happens, and then they talk about they talk about how they have to get the ER prepped for that and get rid of all the unessential machines, all of that kind of stuff, and prep for this trauma. And then how they go through the triage part of that with slap bands, like, and assessing, like, is the person going to die within 5 minutes? Is the person going to die within an hour? And those are different colored bands that they just slap on the wrists of these people. And there's no charting. They just have like a tag on them that they write down all the stuff. It was insane. And it was so intense, this last episode, that I could not catch my breath. Thank goodness there are 3 more episodes for this year, because I thought that it ended at episode 12, but they are going to 15. So because there are no answers at the end of this episode at all. And I'm really excited for this week to see how that turns out. Yes, Denise, The Pit is great. It has really become one of my favorite shows of all time. And Helson says, please watch From. It's amazing. I don't know what From is. I'll have to look that up. So yeah, The Pit's great. And then we have Reacher, which is really a short season. There's only 1 more episode left, and everything it is building to that climactic thing, like every Reacher season does. And now we're ready for the showdown, and that will happen this Thursday night. Cannot wait to see the end of that. But yeah, great television right now. Fun stuff to watch. So Kenneth says, From is horror, gory, if you can handle that. I don't mind it. Like, gory, The Pit is gory, because the stuff you see in the CR is insane. I've never been a horror guy. And it's not that, like, I get scared of it or anything like that. When I was in college, I had a roommate that watched horror movies all the time. And there were so many bad horror movies that you had to get through like 10 bad horror movies to get to one good horror movie. And I just, to me, that meant the juice just wasn't worth the squeeze anymore. So I just stopped watching horror movies altogether. Because some of them were so bad. It just was like a waste of my time. And I really, if I waste my time on a movie or a show, I get really irritated. really irritated because I'm a busy guy doing this podcast, working full time, having a family. Like, I don't have time to waste on crap. So, yeah. Cat is swiping left if horror movies are in the profile. Amen to that. Helson says it's not as horror as it is suspenseful. It's not scary. Okay. Maybe I'll check it out. I don't mind suspense. Suspense is fine. Just the horror genre as a whole, just I think I don't know. I don't even know. I don't know. I think one of the most irritated times I've ever had in a horror movie is I watched the Blair Witch Project, and to me that was very realistic because it was very much like the woods behind my parents' house that they're running through the whole time. But the end of that movie is so damn dumb. I was like, I have wasted 2 hours to get to this point, and this is the payoff you're going to give me? Like, I just can't. I just can't. I just can't. Kenneth had to turn it off after the first episode. It was too much. Oh, if there's things happening to kids, I have a hard time with that too. Being a father now, I know. And yeah, the pit even got me on this a little bit. But yeah. There is an episode of the pit where kids are in danger, and it was tough on me. I understand the buildup for Blair Witch was amazing. The buildup was awesome. The movie it had me for 2 hours, but that ending was just dumb. It didn't even, as real as everything else was, because of the way they did it with the handy cams or the video cameras. And then at the end, it just didn't look real. It just looked like a stick and a piece of cloth in the corner. Oh my gosh, it was so dumb. And Holly says it's a classic. Corey said Blair Witch was the least scary movie I've ever seen. Horror movie I've ever seen. The running through the woods, like, I get that. Like, we did that all the time. And at times there's sounds in those woods that you just don't normally hear. That was awesome. Andrew, I know it was a person in the corner, but they made it was such a bad representation of the person. It looked like a stick in a cloth. Like, it didn't even look scary. Ah, so bad. So bad. Man, you're getting me riffing on the damn Blair Witch today. I heard this a lot. Denise says I got super dizzy, so I couldn't really watch it. I heard a lot of people say that. And for Kat, it was actually a jump scare. There you go. Yeah, to each his own. That's why there's so many different genres. That's why there's so many different things on TV, because we all like different things, right? And if you like that stuff, like, more power to you, man. It's awesome. But for me, that's just something I don't do anymore. So yeah. Well, that's all I really have today. You know, Mondays are tough because we come off that show on Sunday nights. But those are the things I wanted to talk about today. And it really was fun to talk to you guys. I need to call Jay Birch and I need to get in touch with Jay Birch and Andrew, if you're both still on here. If you guys are up for doing the top 5 Tuesday tomorrow with judging movements, I'd really like to do that still. And I can send you a link for tomorrow's show, and we can have you guys on as elite judges talking about the hardest movements to judge, both online and in person. So, yeah. So you guys, I'll reach out to you after the show. It's good hanging out with everybody today, but I got to get back to work. So you hooligans, you go back to work too. We'll see everybody next time on Lunch with Clydesdale. Bye, guys.